Good evening, everyone. We'll be starting in just a second. Thank you. All right, all right. Good evening and greetings, everyone. It is your girl, Rain Woman, coming to you this evening. I want to say welcome to all of my new supporters and welcome back to all of my returning supporters. Before I get into it, please tell me if you hear me okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can y'all hear me okay? Well, I'm going to assume that you can hear me just fine and continue. We're going to be here for a minute. I want you guys to know that this is not something that I wanted to rush through. So please hit the like button. Thank you, Expose the Manosphere. I appreciate that. Please hit the like button. If you need to go get yourself some snacks, some water while you're enjoying the stream, or if you need to multitask, which is something I am always, forever and a day doing, I want you to please do so and just have us playing in the background. Because we may be here, I am prepared to be here for a while to kind of go through this. So let me greet the chat room. It's so good to see you. Greetings, Savior of Self, Black women. Greetings, Ova Williams Jr. Hey, hey, lovely. And Expose the Manosphere. Great to see you. Great to see you, Q497. And I already please see Ova. Okay, so y'all, if you can see the background, the reason why I chose this background, everyone, um, I want you to put yourself as much as possible mentally and emotionally for yourself in a very visual and peaceful place, peaceful state of being. Q497, both channels. I'm streaming on both channels, so you can be on either one. So the inspiration behind this stream, everybody, is there were recently two events. I lowered the music. That there are recently two events that made me really want to talk about the state of women and how we can just kind of how women get in certain places where they are bitter and are broken. So one of the events was Tommy Lohan speaking about all men being trash. And she went on a rant talking about how she and her girlfriends are these phenomenal women, pretty much, but they can't seem to find good men. But another event was a woman literally running over her boyfriend or husband in a parking lot with her car. And while he was already laying in a pool of blood, she took the bumper of the car and ran and threw it on him in a rage. The first woman that I'm speaking of, that is someone we would consider to be a bitter woman. The other woman we would consider to be a broken woman. Usually, when it comes to women and you speak of bitterness and brokenness, one of the most common things people factor in is relationship issues, bad relationships, or father issues. But there are more things to factor into anyone or woman being bitter and broken besides those things. And while I'm talking tonight about bitter and broken women, understand that there are also men that are bitter and broken as well. It's just that bitter and broken men are not the address tonight. Imagine whether you are, in this stream, by the way, this is for anybody. This is for whether you are a male or a woman, male or female. This stream is for you because as women, we know oftentimes when someone around us, when a woman around us is hurting, even if they are in denial or even if they don't want to really address any of the issues, right? Um, Men oftentimes may recognize a woman that is bitter, damaged, or broken when you are in a relationship with one or you're dating someone and you see signs that kind of make you want to be distant from that person because of their attitudes or their behaviors or things that they say that resemble and are a reflection of them being hurt. And it hinders you being able to enjoy them or grow with them because there's just too much work or too much damage. As men who have daughters, as men who have sisters, as men who may even be the product of a single mother, a single parent home, you have your aunts, you have your grandmothers, you have exes, and did I mention daughters? As men, you are not usually equipped to help your daughters, your sisters, or any woman around you to deal with their brokenness, to the things that have broken their heart or broken their spirit. And quite frankly, oftentimes the same thing for a lot of women. You know, it's so easy to sometimes say it'll get better, when you know that someone is going through something, or you know that someone has a background where they were abandoned or they were neglected, abused in any kind of way, or someone is experiencing a breakup that they're taking pretty hard. Oftentimes, we like to just tell little girls, tell teenagers, tell our sisters, tell women, tell our daughters that it'll all be okay. You'll get over it, hon. Time heals all things. Oh, just pray about it. It's going to be okay. Just give it a little time. Or go shopping. Go, you just need you just need something to distract you. Or you'll find someone, if it's a breakup, you'll find someone that you can do better than that. You'll find someone to love you. They didn't deserve you. They were not worthy of you. And while these things sound good, they're actually, my dad is in the background talking on the phone. I can hear him. But that really only touches the surface of the issue. And it doesn't really help get the person, get the woman through it. So it's kind of like putting a band aid on a scar, on a wound, on an open wound, and not even knowing that there is a piece of glass still stuck in the wound, right? So, also, I want you to know that we don't have to stay bitter. We don't really have to even become bitter. We can't prevent from having things to break our heart in life. We can't, as I said in many streams, in many videos, none of us are going to get through life without being disappointed. We're not going to make it through life without having something or someone to break our heart, without experiencing tragedy of some kind, right? And there are things that just don't fix it on the outside. No matter how much makeup a woman puts on, no matter how we change our hair, no matter how good we may even look on the outside, no matter, I'm not playing with you, Q497, no matter how many designer clothes we may dress ourselves in, no matter how much money we make, no matter how much we laugh on the outside, no matter how much jewelry we accessorize ourselves with, those are all external things, and they have nothing to do with what's going on the inside. And they can't heal what's going on the inside. So essentially, all those things only become a costume for us to masquerade ourselves in. And while many people are in this life, in this world, living like they're at a masquerade ball, I render to you that living our lives as if we are at a masquerade ball is not living at all. So imagine, if you will, being able to empathize with the women around you, the women you engage. Imagine in even engaging yourself and being empathetic with yourself for being hurt and being willing and being ready to approach your bitterness or your brokenness with a way of getting better. We don't have to be angry, and the women around you do not have to be angry. We do not have to be bitter, and we don't have to wear our brokenness as a part of who we are versus acknowledging it as part of the experiences that shape who we are. So I'm going to go over a couple of characteristics, right, of bitter women or people and broken women. But before I do that, take a look at the image in the background. The beautiful lotus flower on the water. The water that is also flowing into the pond. And close your eyes for a minute. take a few seconds, take a little bit of time to visualize a very peaceful place, a very peaceful and positive image where there is relaxation, where there are no worries, where there are no problems, where you can almost smell the freshness of the air. You can almost smell the fragrance of flowers. You can appreciate the beautiful color of the skies. You can feel the weather, the sun, the breeze on your skin. The sound of a peaceful body of water. You can hear the subtle movements and the subtle sounds of animals, insects. You can feel the wispy wind beneath the wings of a butterfly passing by. You even feel connected. You even feel yourself being touched and connected to the universe, to the atmosphere. And all there is to do is to breathe and dream. To breathe and be at peace. And pull that feeling into yourself. And wish to be able to give that to a woman in your life or a woman around you that needs that, and be willing to do your best to give them that. Thank you, Cielo. Now, while we may not be able to offer that to people, to the women around us that are hurting, have been hurt directly, just by being empathetic, just by being considerate, and just by being aware, just by being willing and desiring to see them made better is a good starting place. So I'm gonna suggest this, right? If you have never given one of the women in your life a diary or a journal, I request that you put that on your list of things to buy. And the reason why I say that is because there are so many of us that really and truly need therapy. And for whatever reason, have not sought it, have not gotten it, and don't think that it can help us. Good to see you, lovely Samira. Have no idea what to expect with therapy. But a good journal, a good old diary, is a good starting place. And the reason why that is a good starting place is because that is a good way for women to begin to get out of them what's going on the inside, even if they have to go back years to begin to write down what has hurt them, what has disappointed them. It can all start with one word. For instance, she might just want to write in her journal or diary that she is angry. One thing about diaries and journals is that they don't judge us. They don't have a time limit on how much we spend with them. They are just readily available to be written in. One word could turn into three words, which could turn into eventually a sentence, then a paraphrase, then a paragraph. And before you know it, feelings that have been bottled up, situations and secrets that have been kept inside, poisoning that woman's body, poisoning that woman's heart and her mind, causing her to live behind glass and brick walls. Glass, easily shattered by anything, or brick walls, like a fortress for protection, while at the same time preventing her from being able to receive good things and let bad things out. Good to see you on Pretty Damn Gangster. Thank you. So the gift of a journal could actually go a long way. Understanding that many times we honestly don't have enough words to give understanding to a woman's pain, a woman's hurt. But it is a journey. See, we're not born into this world bitter and broken. No, see, bitterness and brokenness happens over time, little by little. And what happens is, and there are stages even between bitterness and brokenness. But if we can catch ourselves by being honest, and sometimes it can hurt. Sometimes it can hurt to acknowledge what has hurt us and to acknowledge that things and people that have happened have left a burning, flaming, destructive sting within us. See, it's so much easier. The masquerade, the facade, it is so much easier on the outside. It's so much easier. The pretend world is so much easier. However, the pretend world causes you to build up toxins in your body that eventually will turn into disease because you're holding in resentment. You're holding in anger. You're holding in tears. You're holding in conversations. And you're holding on to them. You're holding on to them because you don't want anyone to know how much it's hurt you. Yet you're still wanting, you're still desiring some sort of peace. You're still seeking, you're still desiring love. You still want to be these women, bitter as they may be, as broken as they may be, as well dressed they may be for the masquerade party. They still desire to be cherished, adored, loved on. They still desire to be seen as someone who has something to give and receive of value. But it is so hard to be vulnerable when you've already been disappointed so much, when you've already been hurt so much, especially if you've been disappointed, if you've been hurt or abused by someone who said they love you, by someone you thought to love you, and by someone who was supposed to be your protector. So we show up in the world and we show up in relationships completely different. See, dating even, that's supposed to be fun, supposed to be relaxed, becomes egregious, becomes intense, becomes stressful way too soon because of the baggage that's coming along right along with you. So it is my hope, it is my desire to plant seeds and help unpack some of these bags. Because I've seen, I've seen what it looks like for women to grow older, hating life, hating men, hating love while wanting love, hating other people's happiness, being resentful and full of regrets, versus women who remain hopeful, who remain loving, lovable, who remain confident, who bring peace, who get up when knocked down and continue to give life and love another chance, starting with themselves. See, older women, when they're bitter, when they're broken, when they are full of resentment, contention, these are the women who will never really believe that their daughters, that their granddaughters have a true chance at love and happiness. Or these are the women who go to events and they sit in a corner just mad. Or if you engage them, they seem really hard. It's like a conversation with them is so intense. You ask them one question, and that one question causes them to come unglued at the seams, easily unraveled. These women usually make it hard for you even in a workplace. Because they just want to work. They just want to show up. They don't want to see pictures of your happy family on your desk, right? They don't want to celebrate your pregnancy with your husband or your fiance. The first time you mention y'all had a disagreement, just a disagreement, they're eager to tell you, you just need to break up with them. You just need to leave. All these men ain't good. All these men are dogs. None of these men are good. Ain't no good men out here. Baby, don't let them do you like that. You don't need that. You can do bad by yourself. You don't want him to do bad. You can do bad all by yourself. Huh. Or they'll tell you, make him prove himself to you before you extend your kind. Don't just be nice. No, make him prove himself. Ask him 1,000 questions on your first date. 1,000 questions. One or two is never enough. Ask him 1,000. These women. Or they might give you this kind of advice. Girl, he didn't answer his phone. Hold up. Hold up. He didn't answer his phone. He said he was at work. Said he was working late, but you called him. He didn't answer the phone. Oh, girl, he automatic. Girl. He wasn't at work. Don't no man work that late. So he went from working 8 hours, and all of a sudden on a Friday night, he decided he gonna tell you he was working overtime. He worked 12 hours instead of 8. You believe that? You believe that? You really believe that? Girl, no. Ain't no man these days working no 12 hours. Oh, he put a double. Really? Oh, he put on a double 2 nights in a row. You gonna fall for that? Girl, can't be me. I wish a man would tell me he gonna pull a double 2 times in a row. I wish he would. Child, you can't believe these men out here. All these girl, please. He got another woman. He just like all the rest of them. I tell you what, if you think he at work, go to his job and find out if he at work. Go to his job. Go see if he at work. Shalom, master. Shalom, Silva. Or better yet, I tell you what. The next time he tell you he working late, tell him to keep working late. Tell him to just go ahead and delete your phone number from his phone. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about calling me later, because later is not gonna come. Okay, so delete my phone number, and you just go ahead and keep on working, Mr. Overtime Man. That's what you do, Mr. Workaholic. That's what you do. You go right on ahead and you just keep on working, Mr. Workaholic. Okay, okay. I'm gonna move right. I'm just gonna move on. You must think I'm boo boo the fool. I'm not. I was born at night, but not last night. You know them kind of remarks. Or they might give you this kind of advice. Girl, I tell you what we gonna do. I tell you what. Let's see if he at work. Okay, come on, get your stuff. We're gonna go. You know where he live, right? Let's go park outside his apartment. Oh, he said he. He's tired, huh? He tired. So he said he was tired. So he don't want to hang out tonight because he was working overtime and now he's tired. Okay, well tell Mr. Tired to go ahead and go to sleep. And what you do is you go over to his apartment. You know the old pop up, the old uninvited guest. Yeah, that's what you do. You go do the pop up. Park your car down the street and just see if you can see who's coming and going. In other words, they tell you to play I Spy. You're right, lovely Samira. No, that is never a good idea. I don't recommend that. These kind of women. So we need therapy, right? Because the masquerade ball is never a good idea. Bitterness and brokenness, see, will really and truly have you miserable. Before you give up, like the broken woman said, she gave this man like 18 years. See, let's talk about the broken woman. The broken woman will feel like she gave way too much of herself. She gave too much and received too little. She trusted too much. She forgave you too many times. She gave you too many chances. What happened with the broken woman is she stayed way too long. See, she should have left sooner than that. Ladies, sometimes you have to give yourself a rope. You've got to give yourself a rope. Fellas, men, you may not be able to give, you may not know exactly what to say to your daughters, to your sisters, right? Men give advice like this, especially brothers. They give advice like this. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Just don't give them none. And they hope. Your fathers and your brothers are hoping with everything within them that you won't give them none. And the reason why they say don't give them none is because they're trying to tell you without telling you is that I've been a dog. I've been no good. Like I've been the cat chaser. I've been the dog catcher. I've been that person. I don't want you, being with me. So just don't give them none. Or, advice like don't hang out with them too late. And don't sit there and don't let them take it to the park in the dark. Don't let them park no car, don't let them park no car in the dark on you. What do they take you for? No, just don't do it. Because they don't want to tell you about the times they parked their car in the dark. They don't want you to be the female that they parked their car in the dark. They don't want you to be that. But they don't know how to tell you anything besides that. So, fellas, my men, I'm going to challenge you to give the women around you a little bit more than that. And this is going to mean that you're going to have to kind of step outside of herself, but inside of herself in order to really help her. Because women, we have hormones, just like y'all do. When our bodies begin to change, they just begin to change. Period. So we need a little bit more than that. Gotta have some substance, okay, to the statements. We need some substance. So you actually, if you really want to help, you really might want to go ahead and tell them why you're saying what you're saying. For instance, you might want to say something along these lines. Baby, when I get a woman in the dark, I only have one thing on my mind and one thing on, and she either gonna give it to me or she not. But my intention is for her to give it to me. And I'ma say, baby, I have told many women I love them to get what I want. If just telling them that I wanted to have sex with them wasn't going to get it, if I had to make them fall in love with me, which is, we're going to call it what it is manipulation, it is deception, it is lying, it is dishonest, it is ungodly. Got it? But of course, men are not going to describe themselves that way, right? So we have to give these descriptions what they are. We have to call it what it is. So I said it's lying, it's manipulation, it is deception, it is ungodly. But what they will be telling you is, I did not intend her any good. That's right. I did not intend her any good. So try to avoid. They did not intend you any good. Good evening, Joe. We have what they call lies, baby girl. So the boy or the young man that you brought home, I don't like him because it looks like he's running games on you. I want to know his intentions. I want to know his intentions. It doesn't seem like he means you well because he said this, I watched him do this, I heard him say that, and those to me were signs of him not intending you well. Because as a man, I can tell you, when me and my guys got together and we did this, or we heard someone do this, this is what this ended up as. That's how you give substance, fellas, to the advice for your daughters and your sisters and your little cousins, to help protect them. When you are afraid that their precious flower might have the petals pulled too soon. So let's go over some of the characteristics of bitter and broken women. And the point here, also the intention here, is to begin to have conversations with ourselves, with each other, and others that we love and want to see be better, to end the complaints, to transform into better, so that we're not aiding and perpetuating the growth of more bitter and broken women. Okay, my tea is getting cold. Y'all know I made some tea. If y'all have been here before, you know I drink tea constantly. So let me sip this tea. Hold on a second. And then we'll get to it. So a bitter person finds it impossible to speak peaceably with others in their family. And these are just some characteristics. They speak with barbed and cutting words, hurting others deeply. Uses language characterized by hostility and suspicion. Criticizes what others say or do. Disrespects others and is unthankful. Here is a real, this one right here, number 6. Rehearses the past over and over again. Hmm. Let me repeat that one. Rehearses the past over and over again. Twist the motives and intentions of others when they try to come alongside to help. Resist change or help. Strives to keep past injuries fresh as though they happened yesterday. Exhibits indifference and numbness toward the hurts they inflict on others. Hmm. Now let's go into signs of brokenness. Some signs of brokenness. She talks like her best days are behind her. She uses other, more successful or exciting friends to validate her. She's lost her driven spark. She talks a lot about people who have hurt slash damaged her. She looks to him, a man, to be her emotional repairman. She instantly demands a lot of unwarranted attention, reassurance, and love. Hmm. Those are the signs and the characteristics of bitter and broken women. So, what besides therapy are some solutions to the bitterness and brokenness? I'm actually doing pretty good on timing too, so I'm really thankful for that. But what are some solutions, right? Some things that could help along with therapy. Number one would be to first acknowledge that it is there. For whatever reason, it is there. And all of the reasons that it is there. And while we can't work on all of the things that have hurt us at once, just like eating an elephant, we can do it little by little, one bite, one action at a time. We can work on it. Number two, we must, we absolutely must have a desire to be healed, to be whole. Then, number three, we must be willing to do the work, whatever the work is, for us to be better. Number five, or is this four? Next, next, we need to be humbled, be bold, and courageous in our stand to be better and take care of ourselves. Commit, dedicate our lives to taking care of ourselves inside and out. We must make our self care a priority and our responsibility so that it doesn't fall into the hands of someone else's responsibility. And we can recognize when sooner when something or someone does not mean us well. And know and agree to the self care and the self work to be ongoing. We must be absolutely honest and willing to be honest with ourselves. And something else we can do is we can share with someone else that we trust to support us on our journey to be better. We can seek support groups for the things that have hurt us. And we can also even ask someone to hold us accountable for doing the work, for taking the action to help us to be better. We must be realistic while being optimistic, and being optimistic is a must. Being optimistic is a must. You must be optimistic. We must be willing to be optimistic that our future days can be better than our past days. We must be optimistic that even if and when something else or someone disappoints us or even hurt us, it doesn't have to break us. And we must be willing to be a little vulnerable. We must be willing to come from behind the fortress and allow ourselves to be seen and be heard, and to hear and see others as the vulnerable human beings that we and they are. My good brothers of the Most High Yah have come into the building. Shalom, Moshe. Greetings. And when all else fails, because they will, some things will, no one knows you better and is better equipped to help you on a journey to healing and wholeness than your connection to the Most High and nature. So I render you this. We don't have to be bitter and we don't have to be broken, but if we find ourselves there, should we find ourselves there, should we find others around us in such a state of being, we can offer them as well the possibility and the words that they don't have to stay there. And give someone you love, give someone the gift of a journal or a diary if it'll help begin to release. Self help, self awareness, self responsibility, self healing, self. It all begins with acknowledgement, vulnerability, honesty, and a willingness. I am well, thank you, Moshe. How are you, sweetheart? Now I'm going to go through the chat and then I'm going to also I want to share some writing on the subject as well. So Black Caesar, whom I have not seen for a while, I don't remember the woman's name, Q. Black Caesar says, how are you, hon? I am blessed and grateful, Black Caesar. Thank you for asking. Q4 with the jokes said, is that why I can't call you after 9 on a school night because your daddy is there? Jack Spade, I found love on the glue, adhesive and hardware out at the Home Depot. Boy, these men. And lovely Samira, that's why black women too crazy trying to figure out what that man is doing instead of trusting him. LaShawn, greetings LaShawn, and LaShawn said, "Don't make me bury you." Father's worst fear, because she picks wrong. Hold on a second. I had to mute up so I could cough. Excuse moi. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into. Let me read a couple of things and other things. Hold on a second. Let me close this one and close this one. So I want to read some poetry. Before I read the poetry, though, I am going to do a quick little music break, okay? And let's see what I want to play. Let's try this. I've been waiting all night. Watch you blow my life. Please don't come over, cause you're not sober. Yeah, now you know that ain't right. If you knew he was coming over, that would be a problem. If my friends knew undercover love, and they were trying to solve it. Sorry, yeah, we you, what you, it says between me and you, me and you, what you, it says between me and please don't touch me like cause you know I'll read it. Don't make me do this. I feel so foolish. No, breaking rules and that's. If you knew you was coming over, that would be a problem. If my friends knew undercover love, and they were trying to solve it. So if it's wrong, tell me that I'm wrong. I don't care. It makes me happy, and if you're happy, then let's be happy. Then let's be happy. Yeah, me and you, what we do, it stays between me and you. Me and you, what we do, it stays between me and you. turn the music back down. Thank you all for your patience. So, this first poem I'm going to read is She is a Bitter Woman. Oh, let me just go ahead and mute the music altogether. Okay. She is a bitter woman. She is inconsolable. She is never understanding. She can slap you without a touch. She is a bitter woman. She doesn't see beyond her rage. She never knows when to stop. She is out of control. She is a bitter woman. Everything she thinks is negative. Everything she knows is rage. She blames everything on her unhappiness. She is a bitter woman. Even when things should be good, her anger keeps her mad. She raises a hand to God, but the ugly he cannot look beyond. Her reasoning to her madness is the man who did her wrong. Now he's moved on, and her fury has caused the children to be involved. The past, she can't look beyond. It will carry her down. What she needs to realize is that he will always be around. She is a bitter woman, and this may never change. It's been her way of life to control and rearrange. If a bitter woman can learn to let go and forgive, her life would be rewarded with her own life to live. And that is written by Cassandra Whitworth. And another I want to share from her. She hurts. She cries herself to sleep and wonders why. She says every day, all I do is try. She can't take the pain or heartache. It's time to walk away. She hurts too bad to try and stay. She has loved him for what seems like an eternity, and her heart has to pay. He doesn't know how she hurts, even when it's in black and white, written across the sky and in plain sight. She hurts from the pain of love. She hurts for what she can't touch. Sometimes it's overbearing, overwhelming, it's just too much. She doesn't know where to go. She doesn't know what to feel. Is love really real or just a daydream that little girl has created? It's just an emotion she longs to feel. Twisted into a dysfunction of confusion, distorted illusions blurring her vision. She tries to stay focused, but he distracts her with his promises and illusions. She hurts from the pain of love. She hurts for what she can't touch. Sometimes it's overbearing, overwhelming, it's just too much. Her emotional state is too hard to control. The pain feels like a ton of bricks crushing her soul. Words from songs brings out the better of her emotional expressions, but do they hear what she has to say? No one may ever feel her pain or ever understand. She's jumping off this moving train that's nowhere bound. She's cutting those controlling strings that she has tied her down. She wants to flow free to control her own destiny. She doesn't want to hurt from the pain of love. She doesn't want to hurt from what she can't touch. She wants love to be overbearing, overwhelming. That's a pain she wants to touch. So that is another poem again by Cassandra Whitworth. And now I want to share some books. I want to share some books that would make for some nice gifts also for women. And one of the books is written by a young lady named Lyric Taylor, well, Burns now. And because she recently got married, they're, oh my goodness, they are approaching their 1 year anniversary. But she wrote a book titled From Bitter to Better, and I'm going to share some things from that book. Dear Mama, I now understand what it means when you said you did the best you could with what you had. Although your passive nature perplexed me and made me mad, I now understand that your prayers landed before me. Worry every hit dry land you saw fertile ground in the middle of seas of worry and doubt, and I never understood why you would never try and fix the problem. You would just wait it out. Because you never doubted the God you served and knew what he was all about. You were the first person that taught me how to pray. Our Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. On this earth, you were created with precision, and oftentimes in the family division, you took on the Father that voluntarily subtracted himself and added up all the pieces of herself to make us whole. Always reminding us that we were never too old to be disciplined. And whether it took writing sentences, mowing yards, you never spoiled us and spared the rod. Your discipline was unorthodox, sometimes making us kneel on rice and picking up that same rice to eat biscuits and gravy. The next night, you turned a light into a little into a lot. And like Lecrae said, we are never had a lot. But all we need is all that we got. Your questionable methods of healing sickness always made us feel better. Mixing a little tea with a bit of honey and some other things that children shouldn't probably have, and it healed our body. And now we still call you to this day for the ingredients to that hot toddy. Mama, you made the gospel a reality for me. Jesus taking 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread and feeding it to over 5,000. I can't believe my eyes, Mama. Took 2 pieces of bread, some Aunt Mama syrup and jam, and stretched it until she got paid. It was syrup sandwiches to feed 6 kids for 5 days. Mama, you had miracles. Stick to your fingers, being a listening ear and mending broken hearts. You took the jumper cables of love and prayer and hit restart, igniting our thought, processing with phrases like work smart and not hard. I never understood what that meant until I jumped through hurdles of complicated strategies, thinking my degrees could fix everyday things, rather than I tried to turn on the TV with a remote only to realize hours later that same TV wasn't even plugged in. Mama, you make things simple. Mama, you make things real. You say what we hate to hear, but you love us without fear, at least fear we never see. You let us fail just to get us where God wants us to be. It's about principle, not punishment. Knowing you will always love us no matter what we do, and though we get annoyed a million times a day when you call and ask us for the 50th time, we will continue to answer with the same thing I was doing 10 minutes ago. But If I had to go a day without you in my life, it would never be the same without you. I love you, Mama, and I thank God for placing you in my life. Here's to all the mamas in our lives who every day made the ultimate sacrifice of choosing to give us life. And then we have this excerpt. And this book is available online at Amazon. Hold on a second. Go ahead, Google. Okay, here we go. Listen. She looked like she had been crying for years, like teardrops were mistaken for freckles on a gloomy face. Her eyes could have sunk a million ships as they carried more water than tsunamis that rested on the dry lands of souls, castaways awaiting to set sail. Her heart waited at the bottom with a buoy full of bullets, awaiting a moment of emotion to pull the trigger of her tongue. As her arms were ready to swim back and forth, ready to slay, ready to snap, ready to swing, her soul ready to roar, ready to protect. Paranoia is her present, and she defeats past paraphernalia with protective optimism. Fake felines crouched down on paws, ready to pounce, ready to announce to the world that she is officially losing it, officially losing the grips of her own fingerprints, losing where she is, when she is, why does she exist? Imagining heaven is her state of being, but suicide is her eternal damnation, and for sure, not the way to eternity. Not the way to the next moment of excitement that her legs wait stooped over on stools to give birth to his dreams. She waits for moments for a man to join with her as a woman and love her like the sun loves the day. Love like her clouds love the sky. Will he dwell beside her for all of eternity? She never feels worthy. She waits for you to hold her like the sky holds a rainbow, like the bass holds a beat. She waits to see his face, but knows that her face is still stained with fresh tears, smeared across a mirage of unrealistic realities. She awaits, but patience isn't her middle name. Fear is. Her tongue is heavy with pessimism, and her feet trod with purpose. She is a walking oxymoron in an opiate universe. She travels down streams of regret and bathes in remorse. How does she ever get off this course? Her disposition is joy, but her present is depression. Her conviction is glory, and her stories are one of redemption. She asks, who can find a virtuous woman? Who hasn't been beaten and broken down by the expectations of this secular world? She is a woman, expected to provide, but still told to know her place. Her face is stained with falling tears of fear that leave behind calluses under her eyes. They call them bags. But truth be told, her bags are not the only bags she's had to carry, not the only bags full of dreams that she had to give birth to. When other women's wombs were unavailable because they settled for being a snack, she is not a meal ticket just to be laden with her fears and past failures. Show her more respect than that. She has settled enough and yet soared too high for your ego because her compensation makes her overqualified for your commitment. She is tired. She is unsettled. She is anxious. She is always searching for peace, but it always exudes her, eludes her. She is launching after laughter so that circumstances don't swallow her whole. She is called bitter, but reaching towards better. but everyone sees her as a stick of dynamite and mistake her position as combative. She's only protecting what you stole. She's only protecting what you won't defend. She is a black woman in this country that never loved her in the first place. A part of a race, but always finishing last. No wonder why she's mad. Don't mistake her confidence for conceit, for her glory is far too great to ever be cheated. Her tears tell tales of northern stars followed by slaves that led them astray, that either got them hung or made them obey. I am she, and she is me. She is called bitter, but reaching for better. However, it always is too much and never enough. Hmm. Wow. So, again, that is from the book Bitter and Better, available on Amazon. And I'm going to go ahead actually and grab a link for that. Didn't. Let's see here, right here. I'm just playing music while I grab these links. Hey, Mahogany, greetings. Good to see you. Oh, darn, why didn't I copy and paste this before I. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm also going to read a little bit from another book that I recommend. And this book is called Herstory, like history, but it's herstory. This book was written by an older woman, actually, a more mature aged woman. And let's see, where do I want to begin? Okay, so um, I just love epidemic sounds, but I'm gonna now go ahead and put that on pause. Y'all hanging in there with me? Cool. So this book again is called Herstory, like history, but it's herstory. And this is where I got the quote from. We do not have to be defined by our circumstances. Instead, we can be better because of them. And this is written by Cloris LaRue. And this that I'm about to read in this book is called Do You? And there is a lot in this book. It's not just poetry, it's actually stories in both of these books that help you as women, that help us as women about our journey. And these are really good books on self help as women to be better inside, from the inside out. So this is called Do You. When I hear the term do you, it means offering to the world a you that is authentic in all your glory and truth. Ultimately, learning to embrace all parts of your past and future and not be hindered by others' judgment of you. It also signifies not conforming to what others believe you should do or be. Just do you, whatever that may be. Do you honestly, instead of conforming to what others think you should be doing? Every day you choose not to do you deprive yourself of yet one more day of happiness, joy, truth, freedom, honesty, and self love. Even as an adult, it's easy to lose your true identity. This process begins slowly, then before you know it, you look into a mirror and can hardly recognize the person looking back at you. Losing identity is not limited to one's exterior. If you're doing things because others want you to do them, but doing them does not make you happy, then you are not doing you. Now, of course, in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle, there are things we may have to do that we may not be very fond of, such as laundry or cleaning the refrigerator, but I'm speaking of people driven things. You may go to dinner on Thursdays with a couple that drains your spirit with egotistical conversations, when you'd much rather be attending dinner with a couple that's empowering and spiritually stimulating. Yet, those are your husband's best friends. So it's actually something that he wants to do. You may sometimes go to one of your good friend's house and it is always ridiculously unorganized and downright filthy. But because she invites you, you accept her invitation despite knowing that you will be unhappy at her home because you will have to do certain things such as move things from the couch just to find a seat. Doing you does not necessarily
doing you does not necessarily mean you that you are being rude, mean, or self centered. It simply means that you are choosing happiness over conformity. When you are happy, everyone surrounding you will be happy. Lose the idea of obligation. An obligation does not have to consist of things that make you uncomfortable or are spiritually draining. I have done many things that I used to call doing me that affected others negatively, such as reckless spending, not calling my family while I was out, leading them to worry, and excessive drinking and partying. Doing you should never affect those whom you love negatively. Guilty. Thank you, Lord, for being better. It should enhance their well being and allow them the opportunity to appreciate your true spirit. What makes you who you are is not the color of your skin, it's the spirit that lies within. So, hey, misunderstood. So, I'm now going to grab the link to that book. I'm just a typing. I intended to play some music while I do that. I don't want you guys just hearing me typing away. So forgive me. Enjoy that while I grab this link. Ooh, that is a long link. Wow. Ooh. Okay, actually, the link to her story is far too long for the chat room. So I will drop that in the comment section afterwards.
about to go ahead and go through the chat now and get ready to end this stream. Enjoy the music in the meantime, and thank you all for being here. Please share this information, this stream, with someone that you love or that you feel could be helped by this. Pretty damn gangster said, "Rain on, lady." Okay, girl, I'm gonna rain on. Thank you. Good poem, and it tells the truth. Thank you, Moshe. Okay, I'm coming. If you're enjoying the music, this is provided by Epidemic Sounds, which is a copyright-free music site. It is a paid music site, but it is definitely worth it. I highly recommend it. I absolutely love Epidemic Sounds. So I want to thank everyone for being present for this stream. I hope that it was helpful and I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank Miss Understood, who was in the clouds and came down to say hi. Miss Mahogany Moose and MJ. I am pretty damn gangsta. See, Ova was in the place. We had my brother from Yah, Moshe Ben Yahuda, Israel. We had Otho Williams Jr. We had Moshe being okay, I said remember Munster, Moshe, Monster Moshe, Lovely Samira, Joe Whitfield, LaShawn Jefferson. We had a troll that got escorted out, okay, by Over. We have Jack Spade, Q497, Black Caesar, Exposed the Manosphere came through, and Save Yourself Black Women. And let's see on the other page. Okay, some of the same. All right. If you're catching this on the replay, I want to thank you also. You're welcome. You're very welcome, PDG and Misunderstood. Thank you so much. Yes, and also, by the way, I actually have on hand I have an extra copy of her story, and I am willing to give this to someone if you think someone can benefit from this story. So, a little bit more about her story, written by Cloris LaRue. It started out as one woman's blog about her life as she was going through separation and divorce, finding herself kind of spinning out of control and experiencing a lot of things and not know where to place them. Her blog became a help to many other people that read them, as well as helped her go on a deep spiritual journey of self love, where she began to shed a lot of her old self while learning more about herself and things to prevent her from being further damaged and being better. So, yeah. So, with that being said, everyone, thank you again. Have yourselves a great rest of your week. Be great because you can be and you are great. Let the greatness within be the exterior gratefulness on the outside. Peace.